So what do you do when Garmin calls you up and says, hey Sean, you got a new product coming out. You want to fly to the Ozarks and learn about it? You get up at 4:30 in the morning and you go to the Ozarks to learn about it. I don't even know what it is. I've got like a slight idea of what I think it might be. We're gonna play Paynes Valley at Big Cedar Lodge, which I've never been. I am very excited to find out what Garmin's got in store for us and take you along for the ride. See where this goes.
And here we have it. This is the whole reason we came all the way up to Big Cedar Lodge, and it is the Garmin S70. This is the watch I have been waiting for from Garmin for such a long time. This is the golf watch that we've all been waiting for, and there are two huge upgrades that make this a complete game changer.
Look at how bright that screen is. I can't tell you how excited that makes me.
All right, guys, today's a very exciting day. Today, I have been waiting for years. What have I been waiting for? This, the Garmin Approach S70 golf watch, which is unequivocally the very best golf GPS watch ever made. I don't normally come out my reviews and just say that, but I really, truly believe that this golf watch is the best that's ever been made, and there's two major reasons for that, and I'm gonna talk about what those are in today's video. I'm gonna talk about the pros and the cons of the watch. I'm gonna talk about how it compares to the outgoing S62, which for the last 2 years has been my pick as the best golf watch. It's great. The new S70 is light years better. We're also going to talk about how it compares to the Apple Watch and if the Apple Watch is a suitable replacement for a dedicated GPS golf watch. So, if you've been in the market for a GPS watch, you've been trying to figure out what's right for you, I think you're going to like this video. We've got a lot of cool stuff to cover, so let's jump right into it. All right, I lied. Two quick caveats before we jump into everything else. The first, last week I was a guest of Garmin out at Big Cedar Lodge where we played the Paynes Valley golf course, and I did get early access to the S70. They did not compensate me in any other way, but they did pay for the trip, they did give me the watch, and they do not get to see this and see my opinions before I release the video. All opinions are my own, so we're gonna talk about both the pros and the cons of this watch. The second is for you regular Breaking 80 readers, you might be like, dude, Sean, like 3 weeks ago you said Arcos with the Apple Watch was the best golf GPS watch out there. They're kind of two separate things. The Apple Watch is not a dedicated golf watch. So for as much as I love using the Arcos system with the Apple Watch, which I do, there's a lot of things that it can't do that even like a mid-range GPS golf watch can do. So it's a little bit apples and oranges. So take all that for what it's worth. But with that said, let's jump right into the review. All right, so first impressions of the S70 is, it looks like a Garmin GPS golf watch. It looks like pretty much every other Garmin smartwatch out there. One big thing you notice is that it has an integrated bracelet, which is a nice touch. It makes it fit a little bit nicer. It kind of feels a little bit nicer when you compare it to the S70, which does not have an integrated bracelet. So what you'll find is that because of that, this one won't sit flat, whereas this one will. There's a nice orange accent around the bezel on the S70 and around the main function button, which I think looks really nice and does look a little bit more elevated than the S62, but honestly, they look very similar to each other. All right, so when I sat down and got the watch, there was one thing I immediately noticed right off the bat, and that was one of the two things I mentioned. I said there's two things that make this better than any other golf watch that's ever been out there, and the first one is its screen. All right, already I am a fan of the S70 for this reason. I mean, just look at this. We are in bright sunshine right now, and you can very clearly see this. It looks great. I literally turned it on, I looked at the screen and I said, yes. Like I said that out loud. That actually happened because we finally have an OLED screen. It's actually an AMOLED screen, an active matrix OLED screen. So everything looks great. This is one of my biggest knocks on every single golf watch that has been created, including the S62, is that the screens just don't look all that great when you're used to using an Apple Watch. There's so many good Apple Watches, Android watches that really have super high quality screens. And so when you go to some of these lower res screens, it really does impact kind of the experience. And so I was very excited when I saw that this had a new OLED screen. I'm not gonna say it's as good as an Apple Watch, but it's close enough that it shouldn't really be a factor for most people. Okay, so let's talk setup real quick. Because I was at a media event, because the watch wasn't out yet, I didn't get the full box, so I can't do a proper unboxing experience, but Garmin is pretty consistent with all of their packaging, with all of their golf products, so it's very nice, nothing over the top, and I would expect that to be the same with the S70. When it comes to setting it up and pairing it with your phone, it's super easy as you can expect. You open up the Garmin Golf app, it walks you through how to pair via Bluetooth. Within about 30 seconds, you're good to go. We did have a little bit of a hiccup because there was 8 of us all trying to pair our watch with our phone at the same time. So there were some Bluetooth signals that got crossed, but unless you and all of your friends all bought the same watch and are all setting it up together in the same room, I don't expect that to be an issue for you. So for me, once I separated myself from everybody else, the setup process went great, as it has with every other Garmin watch I've used. So for me, I've been using the Apple Watch Ultra for a long time now, and you kind of forget how heavy and how bulky it is. You just kind of get used to it. So when I put this on my wrist, it literally just kind of disappeared. It was there, it's super light, it becomes like an extension of your arm, which I like. And that's the case with pretty much all of Garmin's watches. They have really nailed that kind of fitness watch, that thing you can wear day in, day out for long periods of time, and it just kind of goes away. So I specifically noticed this when I was sleeping with it. So that's something we're going to talk about later on in the video, some of the fitness and the sleep tracking capabilities, but you know, I've slept with my Apple Watch Ultra a couple times and that's just not that comfortable. This I can pretty much sleep with every night, and I have since I got the watch about a week ago, and it's been really great for the information it has given me. So all that to say, it's very comfortable. I don't think anyone's gonna have any issues with comfort when they're wearing the watch. But the bottom line is, if you're buying this, you are a golfer. You are buying a golf watch, so let's talk about what that looks like. It's super easy to get going. You literally hit the button here, and a big screen comes up that says, play golf. So you're gonna tap that, you're gonna select whether or not you wanna keep score, you're gonna pick your tees, you're gonna pick your course, and then within seconds, you are ready to rock. And one of the things I noticed about this watch more than any other one I've used in recent memory is just how quickly the GPS locks on. So for instance, with some of the other less expensive models I have tested recently, specifically the ShotScope X5, that took almost 5 minutes to lock onto the satellites and be able to be good to go for a round of golf. This took like 5 to 10 seconds. So it was the kind of thing, I could get up to the first tee, I hit play golf, I'm ready to go. I don't have to worry about it, it doesn't get in the way. And so the fact that whatever GPS it is using is so quick and so reliable is a big plus for this watch. All right, so when you're playing golf with it, everything's pretty straightforward. On the left-hand side, you've got distances to the front, middle, and back of the green. And on the right-hand side, you have a hole overlay so you can see the entire hole. This is one of those areas where the OLED screen truly shines. If you're trying to zoom in and out on the hole, if you're trying to pinpoint a specific location, it's very easy to do because everything is so crisp and so clear. And because of the increased power of the watch and the new screen, the graphics look better than they ever have. So for instance, you're gonna see different types of trees depending on the different types of courses you're playing. If you're playing in the mountains versus playing from the desert, you're gonna see a different hole overlay for each of those types of regions, which is kind of a cool touch, and I don't think we've seen that on a Garmin watch before. On the right-hand side of the screen, it's very easy to just slide up and down to zoom in and out. You can tap any location on the hole and it's going to give you a distance to that location and then a distance from that location to the green. You can also very easily scroll through all the hazards. So if you're trying to figure out if you can clear a lake or clear a bunker, that's very easy to do with this watch, which is something you expect with a high-end golf watch or even really any golf watch. That's one of the benefits of having it, is so that you can get those distances easily, and the S70 makes it very easy to do that. Another cool feature that Garmin has had in some of their watches in the past, they still have here, is you enter in your average driving distance. So let's say your average drive is 235 yards. You're gonna plug that in when you're setting up the watch, and then when you get your hole overviews, it's going to give you a line showing you how far 235 yards is. So if you're trying to figure out if you can carry a bunker, if you can carry water or not, that line's gonna give you a pretty good sense of where you can expect to be, and is a nice added touch. One of the areas where the S70 truly shines is in its plays-like data. So on the left-hand side, you've got all of your yardages. All you have to do is tap that, and all of a sudden you have plays-like yardages. So it's got a number of factors it is going to take into account to give you an accurate distance of what you can expect this to play like. The most obvious one is it's gonna have a slope calculation. So if the green is up above you, it's gonna tell you that the hole's gonna play a little bit longer. If the green is below you, it's gonna play a little bit shorter. But there's also pressure sensors built into the watch. So it's taking into account humidity, altitude, temperature, and it is going to adjust your distance based on that. If you have connected to the Garmin GPS Golf app while you're playing, it will also give you wind data. So it's taking into account a number of different factors to truly give you the most accurate plays-like distance it possibly can. So one of the things that's really cool about this is that you can just swipe up and it's going to show you what adjustments it made for each of those. So it'll say it took 5 yards off due to wind, but it added 3 yards due to slope. And then it added another yard due to temperature to get your final number. And so you can actually see all that data right on the watch with a quick swipe, which is pretty cool. One new feature you're going to find on the S70 is green contour data. So it's going to give you a heat map of the green, and then it's going to give you a bunch of arrows showing you exactly how the green breaks. So where I found this the most useful is not even necessarily for reading putts, but let's say you're playing a hole you haven't played before and you're not sure what the green looks like. Maybe it's a 2-tiered green and you don't know that. You can look at the data on the green contours on the watch and you can figure out where you should be aiming on the green to give yourself the best putt. There is a caveat to that green contour data. That is part of the Garmin Golf membership, and we're going to talk about that later in the video and whether or not that's going to be worth it for you. So similar to the S62 before it, the S70 has a virtual caddie feature. You are going to get the most out of this if you use Garmin's CT10 shot tracking system. So those are basically going to be sensors you're going to put on every club, and so the app and the watch will be able to work together to track every single shot you hit, and then you're going to be able to go into the app after the fact. You're going to be able to get strokes gain data. You're going to be able to figure out how long every single shot was, what all your statistics are. It's really cool. But what's great about the virtual caddie feature is once you've played 5 rounds and it has enough information to make recommendations, it's going to make recommendations that are very customized to you. So it's not just looking at yardages and what you should hit based on yardages. So it may know that you totally suck playing out of bunkers. And so it's going to make recommendations that will take that into account. So maybe it's going to have you use a different club to give you a least likely chance of going in a bunker. That level of recommendation and personalization I think is really cool and is one of the standout features of using the virtual caddie feature here. That said, I've still only played 1 round of golf with this, so I haven't been able to test out the virtual caddie feature yet, but I will update my written review, which I've linked below, once I've got my 5 rounds in. So all that to say, using the watch on the golf course is great. You can zoom in on the green, you can move the pin around to get more precise detail. It pretty much does everything you could want a GPS golf watch to do, and more. And this also brings us to the second reason I think the S70 is the best GPS golf watch ever made. And it actually doesn't have anything to do with golf. The second reason I think this watch is so good is because this is the first Garmin watch that really takes all of the features of all of their other world-class fitness watches, like the Epics, the Forerunner, the Phoenix, and puts them into this watch. So not only can you use the Garmin Golf app, you can also connect it to the Garmin Connect app. And you can use this as the ultimate daily fitness watch. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been a die-hard Apple Watch user. I've got years of data in my Apple Watch, in the Apple Health app, and I've always thought that was pretty good. It doesn't necessarily give me quite as much detail as I like, but it's easy to use, and so I've been using it. But now that I've been using the S70 and the Garmin Connect app for a week, the amount of data I get from it absolutely blows away what I'm getting from my Apple Watch. For instance, one of the big ones is sleep tracking. So I've been sleeping with it, and the Apple Watch will do that. Most people don't have the Ultra, so it's not going to be quite as bulky as this is, but I don't like sleeping in this. And it'll tell me what my REM sleep is and deep sleep and light sleep, but then it doesn't give me any more information based on that. So what I love about the Garmin is it'll actually give me useful data that I can digest when I don't know if 56 minutes of deep sleep is good or not. It will tell me if that's poor, fair, good, excellent. It'll tell me overall how I'm doing. I love the body battery feature that's built into this, is it's going to give you a number from 0 to 100 about how recovered you are, how well rested you are, and how primed you are for more exercise. It gives you a stress level on 0 to 100, so you can really see how your body is doing at any given time. It's kind of like having the best of an Apple Watch, the best of a Whoop band, and the best of a golf watch all in one device. And so all of a sudden, I'm going from not personally wearing GPS golf watches very often and wearing the Apple Watch when I'm playing, to not only wearing this on the golf course, but also wearing this day to day. I haven't put on my Apple Watch in 6 days, which is the longest I've gone without wearing an Apple Watch in years. And I've been doing that because the data this has been giving me is so interesting. And as you dig into the watch more, you realize just how customizable it is. Like the S62, for instance, it had a few different watch faces, but it didn't really allow you to customize the watch to the way you would like to use it. The S70, on the other hand, has a ton of different watch faces built in, and then you can customize the data within those. You can customize which data points you want, you can customize the colors, you can really dial it down to exactly how you want to use the watch. And if you don't find one you like, you can also use the iQ Connect app to download more watch faces. To take it a step further with that iQ app is you can also download music apps. So if you use Apple Music or Spotify, you can download that. You can download songs onto this, pair your Bluetooth headphones. So if you're out on the range practicing, if you're going for a run, if you're going for a workout, all you have to do is pair your Bluetooth headphones here, download the playlist that you want, and you can use Spotify and Apple Music on the watch without your phone, which is great. So for me, that high quality screen, being able to use it as a day-to-day fitness watch and still get all the notifications, I can still take phone calls on it, I still get a lot of the benefits that I get from my Apple Watch. No, I don't like the user interface quite as much. Like I said, the screen isn't quite as good as the Retina screen on the Apple Watch Ultra, but it's pretty close. And you definitely don't have the Apple Watch app ecosystem that really makes the Apple Watch like the best Swiss Army knife of watches that's ever been made. But if you are serious about fitness and you are serious about golf, I'm not sure there is a better watch out there than this. So earlier we also mentioned the Garmin Golf membership, and some people are going to hate this because it's a subscription, but it actually is really not too bad in the grand scheme of subscriptions. The only thing that is included in that membership for the watch is the green contour data. So if you're using the Z82 rangefinder or you're using the S70 watch, for the like $10 a month, you get access to the green contour data. If you are a Garmin R10 user, if you're using their launch monitor, you're also going to get the Home T Hero simulation features, and you're going to get up to 10,000 video recordings stored in the cloud. So really, the membership is going to be most beneficial to R10 users, and especially to R10 users that also have this watch. But that's part of the reason that I would get into Garmin. It's because they truly have the best tech ecosystem in golf. Because they only have one golf app for all of their products, you get all of your practice data, you get all of your course data, you get all of your scores all in one place, and I absolutely love this. So for the person that's really looking for kind of a one-stop shop, you can go get that R10, you can get the S70, you can get the CT10 sensors, and you can get the Z82 rangefinder. So don't get me wrong, that's a pretty expensive setup, but if you're looking for the ultimate kind of golf ecosystem, Garmin is it. They're the ones that are doing the best at this. So before we finish up, let's just kind of make a couple comparisons to help you figure out what is right for you. The S62. It's a $500 watch. I imagine you're going to start seeing some sales as the S70 is rolled out, but specifically for the fitness features and for the screen, I think the S70 is absolutely worth the extra money to upgrade. Because kind of one of the big selling points of the S62 is you got some of the virtual caddy features, you got some extra golf stuff, but it was a better day-to-day watch that you could wear day in and day out over, say, the S42. But the S70, like those fitness features are so night and day beyond the S62 that it really makes it worth it for that jump. And if you're not going to use it on a day-to-day basis, then I would maybe save some money, get the S42 or the S12, one of the less expensive Garmin watches. The Apple Watch. If you are an Apple Watch user, then Garmin is not going to replace that. And this is what I'm personally struggling with. I love the fitness data I'm getting. I love using this on the golf course, but I also love being in the Apple ecosystem. I've got an iPhone, I've got a Mac, I've got an iPad, I've got all of the Apple things. And so having all that data in one place is really nice. So we just talked about the Garmin ecosystem. Well, not just for golf, but kind of my life is an Apple ecosystem. So that for me is going to be the toughest change to make, and where I'm going to have to decide, is the extra fitness data, is that going to be more worth it for me, or is the usability and all the practical reasons of the Apple Watch, is that going to be better? And so that's up for you to decide. But if you don't use that and you're just looking for the best golf watch on the market, 100% this is it. And if you're also an athlete or if you're into fitness and you use a different watch for some of your training, this is probably the one that's finally going to be able to allow you to do everything. So it's $699. It's not a super cheap watch. If all you care about is distances to hazards and distances to the green, you can literally spend $100, $200 and you can get that. You can go get the Bushnell Ion Elite. You can even go get the Tech watch, which is only like $100. That's going to do the job. But if you want a watch that can do all the stuff on the golf course, all the stuff in your day-to-day life, all the stuff on the trails or in the gym, then the S70 really can't be beat. And the only other thing that I can think of that compares is the Garmin Mark series, which is like an $1,800 watch. And it's more of like an actual luxury timepiece with a smartwatch face. And even that watch, it doesn't yet have all of the features the S70 has. I believe there's going to be a software update in the future that's going to give it, but this is the most high-tech golf watch on the market right now. So with that, I know this was a very long video. I know I sound like a Garmin fanboy, and I promise you it's not because I went out, I got early access, the whole deal. I just truly love this thing. I have been wearing it, literally, I have not put on a different watch until I put this on to shoot the video to hide my ridiculous golf tan line. So all that to say, if you decide to buy this watch, I highly doubt you are going to be disappointed because this exceeded even my already high expectations for what was going to become of the S62 follow-up. It's that good. With that, my name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where we do cool golf product reviews and golf course reviews. If you got some value out of this, maybe consider hitting subscribe and pop over to breaking80.com/hi, get on our newsletter. I send like 1 email a week with all of our best stuff. I think you're gonna love it. So with that, hope you have an excellent day, and if you do decide to pick up the S70, drop a comment, let me know what you think. I wanna know if you like it as much as I do. Hope you have an excellent day. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.